Now back to the Brian Zimmerman Show. Here's Brian.
Hi, everyone. Brian here. Welcome back to another episode of the Brian Zimmerman Show, where I share tell-all stories and revelations of both my good and bad experiences working in sales, music, and in radio. I wanted to talk today about the relationship, the vital, crucial relationship between the AEs and the BDRs or SDRs. Now, I want to clear something up for some people who don't know what the difference is between SDRs and BDRs. Well, SDRs, because a lot of people think it's the same thing. SDRs handle inbound leads, whereas the BDRs only handle outbound. They're calling out cold outreach. My experience has been, for the most part, not good with having a solid relationship between myself, the BDR, and the AEs who conduct the meetings I set up and close the deals. It's always been like two separate teams, like a division. And a sales team is a sales team. It's not any split. Who's ever doing sales, whether it's the front end or the closing aspect, should be handled as one team, okay? Because we support each other. I remember working at a company where I was downstairs and the AEs were upstairs, okay? And when I talk about relationship, what I really mean too is about communication. Having solid communication. I set up a meeting. I want to know what happened to it. Did it happen? What's the next steps? Where is it at in the sales cycle? I shouldn't have to fight for stuff, right? And especially if there's no CRM where you can go in there and look up, where that deal is at, what stage the deal is at. For the most part, this particular company, we had no CRM. So I more than likely had to go and find the information. I had to go up to the AE and talk with them about, hey, what's happening with this? Did it close? Is there a meeting? Where is it at? What's happening with it? And it really shouldn't have to be that hard and that difficult. I feel like the AEs and the BDRs, SDRs, we should be able to have this sort of relationship where we're working together. I haven't had anybody really an AE come down to my desk and talk to me about anything. It was always I had to go to them. And at the end of the day, like I said, we're working together, and it's crucial and it's vital that especially a leader of a sales team, whether it's a VP of sales, sales manager, the CEO, whoever's in charge of the sales, the sales has to be able to understand and treat it like that, and not sort of that division, which in a lot of companies it is. I don't know why, and that has to change, because sales is the lifeblood of a company, right? It starts with me, the BDR, the hunter, the prospecting, and we get the meeting, and we hand it off to the AEs, right? It's a continual flow, a continual process. And the AE's responsibility is to let the BDR or SDR know what happened afterwards. Once it is in their hands, the AEs, I think it's common sense, especially if there's no CRM, to relate and communicate back to the SDR, BDR, hey, I did the meeting, it went well. No, it wasn't the right person. There's no budget, whatever the case may be. Yes, we're going to send an RFP out. And some instances in other companies, I've had AEs who say, you know what, this is they're not ready yet. I'll give it back to you and you can work on it maybe 6 months from now or a year from now, whatever the time frame was, and then give it back to me, right? So it really wasn't a hot lead yet almost. So, but that's been my frustration with AEs is there's just like they're doing their own thing. They're trying to like close those big deals, right? And that's understandable, but and to get the low hanging fruit. But as far as any meeting is concerned, unless they just felt like their uh, leads were more important than mine. I had one company that I worked for, hundreds of meetings that I had set up, and very little action with the AEs and trying to pull teeth and trying to figure out where things were at. And I'm sure that it's not just on my end, the frustration. I'm sure a lot of people, SDRs and BDRs, share that's the same frustration with me. And I also think too, it comes down to, again, who's in charge of the sales team? Is it the CEO? Is it the sales manager, the VP of sales? They're the ultimate responsible. They're responsible ultimately for the success or failure of a sales team, whether it's the AEs or the BDRs and SDRs. They have to also communicate. Instead of just sitting back and thinking that they're going to handle it, they're going to take care of it. You've got to be a hands-on manager as well, right? Because this is your company. If you're the CEO or the owner of the company, to be involved and to sit down with not just the AEs, but with we're both important, but with the SDRs and BDRs who are on the front lines, in the trenches every day. Some people think that it's so easy to close a deal. I mean, it might be easy to close a deal, but the hardest part of sales is the front end work, which nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to do the prospecting and the research and the calling and trying to find that interest, whatever it may be. And we as SDRs and BDRs have the most difficult, toughest job. And so that's just been my experience that I wanted to share. We have to fix this. We have to change this. And granted, there's companies out there where the relationship of the AEs and the BDRs and SDRs are solid. But for me, like I said, my experience has been, for the most part, is really wanting to be able to have more of open communication and being informed of where things are at, and having just that working as a team, as teamwork, as team players, as any sales team should be, right? Working together instead of us being divided, working upstairs, working downstairs, and that sort of thing. That's the sales model or the sales process can only work more efficiently that way, where the communication is solid and the relationships between the AEs and the BDRs are solid. But that'll do it for this episode. I'm Brian. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, please make sure you like and subscribe. I will see you on the next episode.